I want to immediately bring in and try and get in some expert views on that. Joining me, Associate Director of the Action Aid Association, Khalid Chaudhary. Professor M.P.S. Bisht is also joining me. He's the HOD Geology Department, HNBGU Srinagar. First to you, Mr. Khalid Chaudhary, because what do you think is the immediate help, requirement, assistance at this juncture that can be provided to these rescue, to the survivors, those who can be rescued? How is time really of essence here?
Yeah, basically, the immediate support is required to rescue them because many of the families and individuals and people are basically stuck. So they need to rescue them immediately so that more and more lives can be saved. So that is at most important rescue of all the individuals who have been washed away and who have been stuck in this disaster.
Okay, so clearly it's the rescue that should be of prime importance right now as the teams are already on the job. Please stay on with me. Professor Bisht, and if I'm correct, you would hail from I think you hail from the state of Uttarakhand as well. Just tell me about what is the reason that such an incident not only happens, has been happening in Uttarakhand, and specifically the impact that we see. Do you think this impact as much is because of the construction that has happened in the hill state?
Yes, you are right that we have seen lot many such situation in our Uttarakhand. Whenever we found such instances in the either in the Alaknanda, Bhagirathi, or any sort of the river, those are coming out from the Himalayan terrain. You see, river has got its own course. It has its own path. But what happened? Unfortunately, we try to stuck that path by making our buildings, by making our structures, and then becomes the hazardous to us. So this is one of the problems generally we saw. Otherwise, this happened. This phenomena is it's a normal phenomena in the Himalayan terrain, right from the origin of the Himalaya. These all incidences continuously happen, but unfortunately, this disastrous activities because of the people intercept these things while making their buildings and all, And most of these nalas, the front of the nalas like this one, where we are seeing today this activity, we have n number of times, myself also asked them to why people are making these things in such a dangerous situation. I saw in 2010, 2013, some same thing happened in this valley itself, right?
Also help me understand this. So construction, I realize, because that's an issue a lot of activists have raised. But what do you think is the incident that happened, possibly is the reason that and please pardon my ignorance in this if it comes in, is there no alert? Is there no alarm that can come in that the situation is worsening, weather is worsening? I would have liked to see these people evacuated in time. That hasn't happened. Do you think that can happen? We need to heighten our level of equipment and more to be able to save lives.
No, actually, this phenomena, which we call is a heavy precipitation, or in the people like your media, they call it a cloudburst. It is a sudden activity. It's not a we cannot predict it. Number one. Number two, yes, we can suggest the people. The policy should be like that. The government policy should be like that. The encroachment, the nalas or the channels or the roadsides, they should be avoided. They should be avoided. There must be some. There must be.
Okay, so the important points that are being made, I request both you gentlemen to please continue to stay with me. I want to tell you more about specifically this part of the hill state of Uttarakhand. It's a fragile Himalayan geology already. There's a reason that the ecology aspect of it has been consistently mentioned, that it's already fragile one to begin with. This is also a high seismic zone. This is zone 5 that it comes under. There are floods, riverbank erosion already happening on the hill slopes that usually trigger a landslide as well. So there is nature's fury. There is Mother Nature, but are we adding on to it because of some decisions on the ground? Because there's deforestation. unplanned construction, especially in Uttarakhand over the past few decades, that have weakened the natural slopes and our mountains. And of course, there is an aspect of climate change. It's undeniable now that it drives the glacier to melt, causing more flooding and the landslides downstream, affecting not just the local residents, but in places like Uttarakhand, even devotees, tourists, and sometimes villages wiped off. I want to bring in Khalid Chaudhary as well as Associate Director, Action Aid Association. Khalid, you help me understand here that at this juncture, the kind of incident we have seen, we've seen it earlier in Uttarakhand or Himachal or other hill areas as well, even Wayanad for an example. And yet we again have to report on it. How do you think there needs to be a strategy to ensure that there may be Mother Nature getting angry, but at least on the ground we can take better decisions?
Yeah, basically, Himalaya region is very eco-sensitive region, and due to climate change, frequency of these kind of incidents of extreme weather event is increasing. We can see the similar kind of event in Uttarakhand. We can see similar kind of event in happening in Himachal Pradesh as well, even Jammu and Kashmir. So we can see a pattern of these kind of event happening across these Himalayan region. So we have to basically very sensitive to address these issues, and we have to build the resilience of the community. We have to basically activate our alert system, because as far as our information is concerned, because today there was no alert, so it actually happened suddenly. That is why we are seeing so much damage or so much loss of life. So these kind of events are happening regularly in these regions. So we have to be very careful while addressing these issues. We have to build the resilience of the community. We have to be very careful to address these issues.
Important point. There has to be a collective effort here from the government to the local individual on the ground, because eventually, let's be honest, it's not as much our VVIPs, but innocent people, usually villagers and more, who suffer the worst when it comes to these incidents. Professor Bisht continues to be with us. Professor Bisht, can you give us an understanding of a timeline from, let's say, when the cloudburst happens, and that is usually in the higher reaches, by the time it comes downstream, becomes a flood water, and then the sludge? Are we talking about seconds, minutes, hours?
Actually, as and when you see the rains starts, so there is one critical limit. When it exceeds of the rainfalls, excess rainfalls, they start falling in the higher altitude, or the clouds are accumulated at a certain points, and then they start falling. But the important thing is where it falls. If it falls in the area where we have already the sediments high, as you know, in this area, we have a glaciated region, and then we have a moraines over there. All these moraines are loose and unconsolidated. Once the heavy precipitation takes place over there, then suddenly this mass will get down. Number one. Number two, if we know the area, if we have, see, in our geology, we generally call the geomorphology, we call it a face is the index of art, Once you know the area, you know the terrain characteristics, you have to identify first of all, and then say to public that this area is, or the area should be marked that this is a danger, and we should avoid these areas. But unfortunately, this is not happen. So there must be some planning on this, that what should be the second thing is the carrying capacity of the slope where the people are residing in this slope. Most of the slopes, they have some critical angle. When this critical angle is cut.
What do you mean by that, sir? Sir, what do you mean by that? What is a critical angle?
See, critical angle, we call it an angle of repose, The slopes is known as the angle, at the angle of the 35 or 36 degree angle. If it is more than that and the load increase, then mass will suddenly get down with the gravity as well as accelerated by such rainfalls.
This all has to be considered when there are constructions happening. And,
Yes,
and it is,
yes.
these are important points, and I'm glad you're helping us understand with the technical terms as much. Please stay on with me. Ankit Sharma, my colleague, also is joining me. It's so heartbreaking. Just look at these visuals. You can see clearly the aftermath. One, of course, is the rush that happened in seconds. But after this incident, it's heartbreaking to see. I don't even know and wouldn't like to take a guess how many of them possibly survived. Rushing, they could be devotees, villagers, or the owners of these hotels. And then the aftermath after this visual is of these buildings that are buried under the sludge, swallowed by these flood waters. We do not know, and we wouldn't hazard a guess about how many possibly would be trapped. We'll leave it to the authorities to give us an estimate on that. Ankit, what is the current situation right now? What are you hearing about rescue ops? Because time is of essence here.
Yes, absolutely, because it's almost 5:30 in the evening, and it's pre-dusk hours is going to be very tough because the visibility is going to be lower than expected because of the
Correct.
harsh weather conditions as now, because it's still raining in the region, and because of the calamity, as our senior geologist was discussing with India today, that the muck and the rubble has caused a tremendous hit to the uh, whole geographical area, and it is going to create haphazard for and tough time for the rescue forces as well. However, the rescue teams are uh, there on ground zero, and they have resumed their rescue operations. They are using geothermal imaging system to track the people, and as soon as this will start working, we hope that many lives will be saved, and we are praying that as many as lives are saved, it will be good for the state as well. However, the recent number has not been revealed by the
Yes.
Uttarkashi district administration. It's still four deaths confirmed, and they are fearing many as missing. And there's another artificial lake being formed in the Harsil area. Sirens have been blown to
Okay.
evacuate the houses which are built near the Bhagirathi region in Uttarkashi. So it is going to be the very toughest time
And
for
I want to
Uttarkashi
just
district.
inform our viewer, the helpline numbers are on the bottom of our screens. You can call on these numbers to get assistance, because if there are, for example, not just the villagers or the locals, but devotees, tourists as well, their families would start looking for them. And this is usually considered a stopover while before you're heading to other areas. It's after all the Dev Bhumi. Every location in Uttarakhand is either about a temple, a religious place that devotees visit from across the country. Listen in now. This is the brigade commander speaking to India Today, Brigadier Mandeep Dhillon, helping with the rescue operations. First reaction on India Today.
Today, at about 13:45 hours, a mudslide and a cloudburst hit Dharali village, which is around 4 kilometers north of Harsil on the Gangotri axis. Indian Army column located at Harsil post was the first to respond and reached the village within 10 minutes and commenced rescue operations. The column has about 150 personnel with specialized medical equipment, rescue equipment, and doctors, and are engaged in rescuing the villagers. Till now, around 20 villagers have been rescued and moved to safety, and those injured are being treated. Subsequently, another mudslide and cloudburst hit the army camp in Harsil. Despite the same, Indian Army is steadfast in its resolve to assist the local populace and are carrying out rescue operations.
So remember, whether it is the 2021 Rishiganga glacier burst or 2013 Kedarnath floods, these could be those that we remember. But I can't tell you, every year, isn't it, we hear of landslides, we hear of similar issues and incidents that have happened, even if of not that level or gravity, but landslides constantly taking place. Is it just about, as I ask, nature's fury, or perhaps some decisions on the ground, especially with regard to cutting mountains, to construction, that also need to be taken in cognizance by the administration? More and more reactions are coming in. Ankit Sharma continues to be with us. Ankit, tell me about what all teams have been deployed. And as the Prime Minister, Home Minister Amit Shah has also spoken to the Chief Minister, what is the level of rescue operation that we are looking at? Because for me, frankly, right now, that's of most important, because they have to reach there, even if by sunset, and through the night, those operations, I'm sure, will continue.
Well, absolutely, yes. And this is going to be a major operation like we saw during the Silkyara tunnel operation in 2 years ago. And this
Yes.
is going to be another country's one of the biggest operations this year, which will include Indian Army, BRO, Border Road Organization, ITBP, SDRF, NDRF, and there would be other agencies which will help locally. And because of the geographical situation, they are few technical people to be on the ground zero with along with the Indian Army leading the whole operation. Now the question is that how they are going to start. The Indian Army has started the operations, and they are strategically moving towards
Stay on with me,
main
Ankit. Stay
impact.
on with me. I'm joined on the phone line right now. Disaster Management Secretary Vinod Kumar Suman. He's from the Uttarakhand government. Mr. Vinod Kumar Suman, please tell me what is the latest that you can inform to us about the rescue operations, what is being done to save lives on the ground, and what exactly happened according to your information.
जैसा कि देख पा रहे हैं आप कि लगातार
जी।
वहाँ पे मौसम खराब है और बहुत अधिक मलबा आया। मलबा आने के कारण काफी दिक्कतें हुई हैं और वहाँ पर राहत बचाव कार्य के कार्य किए जा रहे हैं। आर्मी के नजदीक की टुकड़ी जो हरसिल में रहती है वो लगातार रेस्क्यू का काम कर रही है। हमारी प्राथमिकता है लोगों का जीवन बचाना। उसके लिए लगातार सेना और स्थानीय प्रशासन और स्थानीय लोग मिलकर काम कर रहे हैं और जो लोग घायल हुए हैं उनके लिए हम नजदीक के अस्पताल में पहुंचा रहे हैं। और बाकी हमारी बहुत सारी टीमें आधुनिक उपकरणों के साथ में रास्ते में हैं। डीएमएसपी खुद रास्ते में जा रहे हैं मौके के लिए। रास्ते में कुछ जगह बाधा उत्पन्न हुई है, रास्ता बंद होने के कारण दिक्कत हुई है, बट टीमें लगातार जा रही हैं। अभी थोड़ी देर में पहुंच जाएंगी। राहत बचाव कार्य
हमको इस गांव के बारे में सर बता सकते हैं क्या यहाँ पे जो थे घर ज्यादा हैं, होटल्स, होम स्टे ज्यादा हैं, किस तरह से इंश्योर किया जा रहा है? क्योंकि हम जो विजुअल देख रहे हैं उसमें लग रहा है पूरा मिट्टी भर गई है एरिया में, तो ये लोगों को निकालना भी बहुत मुश्किल रहेगा।
देखिए, हमारे पास आधुनिक उपकरण है। अगर कोई मलबे में दबा रहेगा तो ढूंढने के लिए हमारे पास इक्विपमेंट है, हम ढूंढ लेंगे। वहां पहुंचने में थोड़ी सी दिक्कत हो रही है। जो ही रास्ता हम खोलने की कार्रवाई चल रही है रास्ते के जहां जहां बंद है, और हमारे हेलीकॉप्टर भी तैयार हैं। हमने भारत सरकार से रिक्वेस्ट किया था, वहां से भी हमें हेलीकॉप्टर मिल गए हैं। हमारे लोकल हेलीकॉप्टर भी तैयार हैं। मौसम खराब होने के कारण बाई एयर जाना संभव नहीं हो पा रहा है। रास्ता बंद होने के कारण हम बाई रोड भी नहीं पहुंच पा रहे हैं, बट टीमें निकल रही हैं। कुछ टीमें पैदल भी रवाना हो गई हैं और जो ही पहुंचती हैं वो हम लोग कर लेंगे। और बाकी सेना वहां पर काम कर रही है, सेना की पूरी टुकड़ी काम कर रही है। स्थानीय लोग, स्थानीय प्रशासन वहां लगा हुआ है। हमारी प्राथमिकता है कि जो लोग पहले घायल है उनको निकालना, ताकि उनका जीवन बचाया जा सके। बाकी लोगों को भी बचाना फिर हमारी प्राथमिकता रहेगी।
सर, क्या आप अश्योर करते हैं कि रात भर ये ऑपरेशन चलेगा? क्योंकि जिस तरह से कहा जा रहा है कि 4 लोग की अभी मौत हो गई है, पर काफी मिसिंग है, उसका कोई एस्टिमेट आप दे सकते हैं अभी?
अभी एस्टिमेट बताना बड़ा मुश्किल है, क्योंकि लोग आसपास भागे हैं, तो कोई कहीं आसपास खोजबीन की जा रही है जहां जहां संभावना है लोगों के जाने की, और उसके बाद ही हम बता पाएंगे कि क्या घटना है। फिलहाल 4 लोगों के मृत्यु की सूचना हमको भी मिली थी, लेकिन अभी हम उसको वेरीफाई नहीं कर पाए हैं। एक बार हमें थोड़ा समय दीजिए, हम पूरी पूरे क्षेत्र को सर्च कर लें।
एक आखिरी सवाल सर, आपकी तरफ से कितनी टीम्स गई हैं? जो डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट है उत्तराखंड गवर्नमेंट का, कितनी टीम्स डिस्पैच हुई हैं?
देखिए, उसमें एनडीआरएफ, एसडीआरएफ, आईटीबीपी और लोकल पुलिस, लोकल प्रशासन, डीएमएसपी स्वयं मौके पर जा रहे हैं, रास्ते में हैं। सेना के लोग काम कर रहे हैं, स्थानीय लोग, स्थानीय प्रशासन काम कर रहा है। जी
विनोद सुमन जी, आपने हमसे बात की, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। I understand that, remember, the officials as much would be busy right now, so we are taking information that is significant and not more. But